Hello there, friends of Unity, Joy of Life. The other day, my highly elevated soul sister and I went for a hike, and we've been doing this for years. And one of the things that we like to do is talk about spiritual principle. So by the time we leave each other's presence, we feel elevated, we feel connected, we feel on top of the world. But the other day, we made a turn in our conversation and we started to talk about politics. I don't know if you've noticed, but politics isn't exactly a high frequency conversation. And so by the time I got home, I couldn't find my center. In fact, I had to write a spiritual class that day and I couldn't do it. I just was so off of alignment. And I kind of went into a dark place for like 2 days. And then it hit me. Some time ago, I made a vow to myself that my state of being is my top priority. Everything else falls from that. And I know that that is my soul sister's top priority as well, but we forgot. And it got me thinking about Easter. What was really happening from Jesus's perspective, right? From the cross. Can you imagine what he saw? I wonder if he had this fleeting thought of, man, it's an insane asylum down there. The yelling, the screaming, the world was in chaos, division, blame, fear, accusations, anger, the us team versus the them team mindset. If we can just get rid of the bad Jesus or fill in the blank, everything will be okay. Sound familiar? But here's the thing. Jesus wasn't playing that game. While the world saw separation, he saw something entirely different. He saw people who had simply forgotten that they also, all of them, children of God. And so instead of judging, instead of resisting, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. That wasn't weakness, that was power. Because when he said Father, and in unity we say Mother, Father, God, when he said Father, he was activating the highest truth, the truth of oneness, the truth of compassion, the truth of love. He wasn't agreeing with what they were doing. He was refusing to agree with the lie about who they thought they were. The lie of being pitted against each other. And let's be honest, it's easy to match that lie. We all know what it feels like when someone comes at us, calls us out, blames us, puts our name on some kind of accusation, and something rises up in us like, all right, you want to fight? Let's fight. And we match their frequency. Can you relate? Both of my hands are up, my friends. I am not perfect here. There are people in our lives right now who don't feel easy to love. People who push our buttons, people who must misunderstand us, people who are sure, we are sure they are wrong, right? And Easter asks us something radical. Can you see God even there? Because here's the truth, there's not a spot where God is not, which means the same loving presence that so loves you so unconditionally, that lives inside of you and in that person that you may not like very much. Even when they have forgotten who they are and they call you all sorts of names. So what if this Easter, we practice something different? What if we simply said, yeah, no, I'm not playing that game of division. I'm not. Today I see God. God, when you look at that person, you go, God, I see you. I see you, God. Because that's the real resurrection. not just rising from the tomb, but rising above fear, above division, above the need to be right. It's remembering. You know, I wake up really early each morning, and one of my favorite things is that when I walk out to my office, I look up at the sky and I see all the stars and I greet them. Hello, hi, stars. And I often wonder, if they were conscious, what would they say about this little blue planet of ours? Because they've seen it all. Countless wars, global freezing, the rise and fall of empires, the Great Depression, the turbulence of the 1960s. They've seen humanity at its worst and at its best. And I imagine that they would gently whisper, "We've seen it. Have faith. You always make it through." And maybe one day there will be generations in the future who will look back and finally ask these stars, what finally brought peace to planet Earth? And their answer will simply be, well, one by one, people began to say, yeah, I'm not playing. And they woke up and they remembered who they are or who they were, and they began to treat each other accordingly. So this Easter, don't just celebrate the resurrection, be it. Happy Easter, my friends. Until next time, I'm keeping the faith for you.